"Who are you?" That's what she said to me this morning. Again. And like every other morning, I smiled, like it didn't tear something inside me apart. She looked at me, her eyes full of calm confusion, holding a bedsheet to her chest like she was protecting herself from a stranger. "Please, why am I in your house?" she asked quietly. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. Instead, I dropped the tray of food I had brought, toast, scrambled eggs, and that Lipton tea she used to beg for every morning before the accident. "You're not in my house, Jen. You're in our house," I said softly, my voice shaking like a tired radio. She blinked fast. "Our?" I nodded. "I'm Zion, your fiancé." Silence. She looked around the room, at the picture frames on the wall, the matching duvet sets, the half-read novel on the nightstand. None of it clicked. And like clockwork, she whispered the same question she asked every day. How did I get here? I stood still, trying not to break. If I told her the full story again, it would crush me. But I had no choice. "You were in an accident, Jen, 3 months ago. A Danfo ran a red light in Surulere and—" I paused. She looked scared. I tried to soften it. "You hit your head, babe. You've been forgetting things every day since." What? Her voice cracked. "You go to sleep and when you wake up, it's all gone. You forget me. Us. Everything." She looked at me like I was insane. "That's not possible." "I know it sounds crazy," I sighed, "but it's the truth." She sat up. Her eyes scanned the room again, slower this time. Then she saw it. The mirror above the dresser. Stuck on the glass was a yellow sticky note with her handwriting. "Jennifer, your name is Jennifer. This is your home. The man in the kitchen is Zion. He loves you. Please trust him." She stood up shakily, walked toward it, touched it. Her fingers trembled. "Is this mine?" she asked. I nodded. "You wrote it the first day the doctor explained your condition. You remembered just enough that evening to write that down before sleeping. It was the only day your memory held for a few extra hours." She turned slowly and looked at me again. "So, you're saying we were in love?" I stepped forward, pulled out my wallet, and handed her a picture. She stared at it. Us at Elagushi Beach. She was wearing my hoodie. I had ice cream all over my face, and she was laughing like she had won the lottery. Her lips parted slightly. "I look happy." "You were." That's how every day starts in this house. Me, trying to show her who we were. Her, trying to figure out who she is. And in between all that, I fall in love with her over and over again, even though she forgets me every single night. I go to bed beside her. She sleeps like a child, peaceful and still. Then morning comes, and I became a stranger all over again. This morning, though, something changed. After she read the sticky note, she sat at the edge of the bed and asked, "What was my favorite meal?" I smiled. "White rice, fried plantain, and ogbono soup with goat meat. And you hate bitter leaves." She laughed. It was small, but real. The first laugh in days. Then she asked, "What's my favorite song?" I opened my phone and played it. "Running to You" by Chike and Simi. Her smile faded slowly. And tears filled her eyes. She whispered, "This song makes me feel like I'm supposed to remember something." I nodded. "That's because it's ours. I don't know if she'll remember this tomorrow. Maybe she won't. But for today, just for today, I gotta see her laugh again. And that's enough." Hey, story lovers! Before we dive into today's story, please tap that subscribe button if you believe in second chances. If you've ever loved someone so deeply it hurts. A story of memory, heartbreak, and a man who refuses to give up on the woman he loves, even when she forgets him every single day. Now, let's continue. Some people fall in love once. Some people never do. Me? I fall in love with Jennifer every morning, in the same house, with the same woman who never remembers my name. It's weird how the heart works. You'd think after the 82nd time of hearing, "Sorry, who are you again?" I'd stop hoping. But no, hope has a sick sense of humor. It keeps showing up uninvited, especially on days when I swear I'm done. This morning started like most. The soft whir of the ceiling fan, the faint hum of traffic from Ikorodu Road, and the smell of pap and akara I bought from Mama Bola before sunrise. She was already awake when I came into the room, curled on the edge of the bed like a visitor. That hurt. Not the fact that she forgot me. I was used to that. But the way she sat on our bed like she didn't belong. Like our life together was somebody else's story. "Good morning," I said, placing the tray on the stool beside her. She looked up, startled. "Morning," she said slowly, eyeing me. Then, "Sorry, do we know each other?" I nodded. "We do." But you might not remember, I'm Zion. She blinked, held her head like something was trying to push its way out. Zion? Zion. She repeated it like tasting the sound in her mouth. I smiled faintly. I'm your fiancé. She flinched a bit. Fiancé? I sat gently beside her and showed her the engagement ring still sitting on her fourth finger. You said yes at your grandma's house in Enugu. It was raining, but you didn't care. You screamed so loud the neighbors came out. She looked down at the ring like it was glowing for the first time. I'm sorry, she whispered. I don't remember any of that. I didn't say anything. I just nodded, because I was learning how to stop expecting. Later that afternoon, I asked her if she wanted to go for a walk. Yaba wasn't exactly romantic, but our street had a quietness to it, the kind that felt like memory could live there, and I hoped that maybe, just maybe, being in familiar places would spark something in her. She agreed, holding her own phone tightly like a lifeline. I noticed something strange while we walked. She kept stealing glances at me. Not suspicious glances. Curious ones. Like I was a puzzle she was both scared and excited to solve. Can I ask you something? She said. Of course. Have I ever hurt you before? I stopped walking. That question punched me in the chest. Why do you ask? She looked away. You smile a lot, but it doesn't reach your eyes. It's like you're always bracing for bad news. I swallowed hard. No, Jen, you've never hurt me. Not on purpose. But I have, she said, more to herself than me. I forget you. Every day. That's pain. I didn't know what to say, so I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because pain doesn't always know how to cry. I'd take this over losing you forever. We got back home, and she wandered into the study, a room full of our old books, photos, and postcards from places we planned to visit but never did. She picked up a picture frame, our trip to Tarkwa Bay. In the photo, she was wearing a bright yellow dress, legs dipped in the water, laughing so hard she looked like the sun. She turned to me. Is this really me? Yes. You look so happy here, she whispered, like you were looking at your whole world. I was, I replied. Her hand trembled. Something flickered in her eyes, then disappeared. Zion, can I ask another thing? Ask me anything. Why do you stay? I didn't answer immediately. I walked to her, took the photo from her hand, and placed it back. Then I looked her straight in the eyes and said, because even if you forget me every day, I'll still remember for both of us. She sat down, quiet, that kind of quiet where a person is fighting something inside them they can't name. That night, I found her in the living room, curled up with a notebook. What's that? I asked. My journal, she replied without looking up. I started writing again today. I figured if I wake up tomorrow and read how I felt today, maybe it will help. I walked over and peered at the page. It read, Today, I met a man named Zion. He says he's my fiancé. I don't know him, but he makes me feel like I'm safe, like I'm someone worth remembering. I want to believe him. I want to remember. I knelt beside her, tears in my eyes. She looked at me, unsure of what to do. So I took her hand. You already are someone worth remembering, Jen, even when you don't remember yourself. But even with all the baby steps, nothing stuck. By the next morning, the journal was forgotten, the smiles were reset, and I was back to being the strange man in the house. I thought I could handle it. That I was strong. But one day I cracked. It was on a Wednesday. She had walked into the kitchen and screamed, thinking I was an intruder. She threw a mug at me. I ducked. It shattered. She stood there, shaking. Why are you in my house? I lost it. Your house? You mean our house? She gasped. Why are you yelling at me? I don't even know you. I slammed the table. But I know you. I know everything about you. Your laugh, your cries, your birthmark on your shoulder, your favorite pillow, the way you steal the blanket at night. She stepped back, tears filling her eyes. You keep forgetting me like I'm disposable. I'm not doing it on purpose, she yelled back. And I'm not staying out of pity. I screamed. I'm staying because I love you. Every damn day I stay, even when you forget. I stay because I'm still in love with you. Silence. Pure silence. Then the tears started. Not mine, hers. Big, ugly sobs. She clutched her chest and dropped to the floor. Why does it feel like I know that voice? She whispered. I don't know, I said, falling to my knees beside her. But I'll keep speaking it until you do. That night after our fight, Jennifer didn't sleep in our bed. She locked herself in the guest room, the one we only used when her cousin from Abeokuta came around. I sat on the cold tile floor outside the door, back against the wall, staring at the ceiling like it had answers. I didn't know what scared me more, the fact that I raised my voice at her, or the fact that maybe she was starting to feel something and it scared her. At 2 a.m., I heard her crying. I wanted to knock. I wanted to hold her, but I didn't. The next morning, I woke up on the floor, back aching, head pounding. I opened the fridge to heat leftover yam porridge when I saw it. Her journal. It was on the counter. Open. A fresh entry. I argued with Zion today. He screamed. I screamed back. I didn't know I could scream like that. But then something strange happened. His voice felt familiar, like it belonged to someone I once loved deeply. I cried, not because I was scared, but because I was tired of not knowing. I sat down, hands shaking. Maybe, just maybe, we were getting somewhere. For the next few days, things were tense. She didn't ask who I was anymore, not with the same urgency. Instead, she started asking who she used to be. Was I soft or stubborn? She asked one morning while folding laundry. I smiled. Both. You were soft when you needed to be, but stubborn about plantain. You always insisted I fried it till it nearly burned. She laughed. It was small, but real. That sounds like me. You were loud, I added. In the best way. You filled a room like music. She stared at the window, quiet for a while. Do you think I'll ever be that version again? I walked over and kissed her forehead. I don't need you to be her. I just want you. Whatever version you are now. But even though she was warming up to me, the truth was bitter. Her memory still reset daily. Sometimes the Post-it notes helped. Sometimes they didn't. One Thursday afternoon, I came back from the pharmacy and found her in the backyard, sitting cross-legged, staring at nothing. Barefoot. Jen? I called gently. She looked up. Her eyes were swollen. She had been crying. I rushed to her. What happened? I was hanging clothes, she whispered. Then I saw our initials carved into the mango tree. She pointed. I looked. True. Z plus J equals. I carved it on her birthday last year. I touched it and her voice cracked. I felt it, just for a second. Felt what? You. Us. Like we existed. I didn't know what to say, so I sat beside her, and we cried together. That evening, I called Dr. Adebanjo, the neurologist who treated her right after the accident. I need something, I said on the phone. Anything. This routine is killing me slowly. The doctor sighed. Zion, her condition is not linear. There are emotional memories, the ones not tied to facts but to feeling. Those stay longer. What does that mean? It means you may not be able to make her remember dates or events, but if you recreate feelings attached to key moments, her body might respond before her mind does. I sat up. So if I can make her feel something she once felt, it could trigger something? Yes, but it has to be specific, strong, meaningful. That's when I got the idea. That Sunday, I recreated our bedroom from our old apartment in Aguda, the one we stayed in when we were broke and happy. I found the same red curtains with holes, the same purple bed sheets with a bleach stain. I even placed the broken alarm clock on her side of the bed that she always refused to throw away. She came home from buying fruits and froze in the doorway. What is this? Home, I said. She stepped inside slowly. Her fingers brushed the edge of the curtain, then the bookshelf, then the alarm clock. I know this, she whispered. My heart jumped. You should, I said. We were here the first night you said you loved me. She spun around. What? I walked to her. It was a Tuesday. Nippa had taken Light. You were sweaty, cranky, and you said, Zion, I don't need Light to know I love you. She laughed, then clapped her hand over her mouth like something clicked. Her eyes watered. I said that? You did. I was that bold? I nodded. You were fire, Jen. She wiped her eyes. I feel warm, like something is hugging me from the inside. I smiled. That's us. That's what we were. Later that night, she came to me in the kitchen. Zion? Yes? I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but can I sleep beside you tonight? I dropped the spoon I was using to stir ogbono. You want to? I don't know what's real, she said, but you make me feel like I can trust the air around me. I held back tears. Yes. Always yes. That night, she curled beside me, head on my chest like old times, and for the first time in weeks, she didn't ask any questions in the morning. The next few days were beautiful. She still didn't fully remember, but she started choosing me, daily. Not because of memory, but because of trust. We made jollof rice together, burned it, laughed, ordered suya from the junction. We played Ludo till midnight. She beat me 6 times. I didn't mind. She asked, was I always this good? I said no. You were worse. I'm just letting you win. She rolled her eyes. Sure, uncle. One night, I told her how we used to dance in the kitchen. She said, show me. I played our song, Running to You. She didn't remember the steps, but she held me tight, and I swear, it felt like she remembered me in her bones. But I couldn't pretend the truth wasn't still there. Every night, I stared at the clock, terrified that the next morning, I'd be forgotten again. That Friday morning, she woke up before me. I opened my eyes to find her watching me. Expressionless. I held my breath. She whispered, who are you? And just like that, the world broke again. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. That morning shattered me. Jennifer sat on the edge of the bed, staring at me like I was just another man who had overstayed his welcome. Who are you? I felt the words punch me square in the chest. I closed my eyes, breathed in, exhaled slowly. Zion? I whispered. Again. She looked down at her hands. The engagement ring still shimmered on her finger like a cruel joke. I woke up with this on, she said softly, almost to herself. But I don't remember saying yes to anyone. I nodded, biting the inside of my cheek. It's okay. No, it's not, she snapped suddenly. It's not okay. This isn't normal. I wake up every day confused, surrounded by walls full of pictures I don't remember taking, clothes I didn't buy, and a man who says he loves me but feels like a stranger. I flinched. She had never raised her voice like that before. I'm trying, Zion, she said, pacing now, frustrated, arms waving. I read the notes. I eat the food. I watch the videos you show me. But nothing sticks. Nothing. I stood up slowly. I know, and I'm not blaming you. Then why do I feel like I'm disappointing you every day? Her voice cracked. Her knees buckled and she slid down against the wall, crying. I feel like I'm living someone else's life, she said between sobs. Wearing someone else's skin. How long can you keep pretending I'm still your Jennifer? I wanted to say forever, but I didn't, because I was tired too. So I sat across from her, my back against the bookshelf, staring at her through blurry eyes. I'm not pretending, I said. I know who you are. Even if you don't, that's what love is. She looked at me, tears pouring down her face. Then maybe your love is too heavy for me to carry. That sentence stayed with me the whole day. I didn't follow her around like I used to. I let her sit in silence, roam the house alone, and think. She needed space. And if I was being honest, so did I. But by evening, the silence felt louder than any argument. I made a mala and ivedu, one of her old favorites, and left it on the table. I didn't even ask if she was hungry. I just waited. She came out of the room, hair tied in a scarf, wearing one of my big t-shirts. She paused by the table. This looks familiar. You used to eat it with both hands, I said, eyes still on the TV. She chuckled dryly. Of course I did. We sat across from each other in silence. Halfway through the meal, she dropped her spoon and asked, Do you think I'm broken? My head snapped up. Don't say that. I'm serious, she pressed. I look in the mirror and I don't even recognize the person looking back. I feel like I'm someone who died and I'm the ghost left behind. I stood up, walked to her side, and sat beside her. You're not broken, I said firmly. You're surviving. But I'm exhausting you. I looked at her. No, I said. This situation is exhausting, but not you. She turned to me, eyes red. I saw a woman in a movie today. She forgot her husband. He moved on, found someone else. I kept thinking, maybe that's what I need. Maybe we both need that. Something inside me snapped. I stood up, almost knocking over the chair. So that's it? After all this? You're giving up? I'm trying to be realistic, she shouted. I shouted back. No, you're trying to run. Because I don't want to keep waking up in confusion, Zion. Then fight it. I am fighting, she screamed, voice cracking. I fight every day. You think it's easy waking up to a love story you don't remember? Watching a man cry for a version of me I can't even feel? I clenched my fists. You think it's easy for me? You think it doesn't kill me every time you ask who I am? Every morning I wake up praying today will be the day, and then it isn't, and I pretend like I'm okay. But I'm not, Jen. I'm not okay. We stood there, breathing hard, tears running down both our faces. The kitchen light flickered. The wall clock ticked louder than normal. Then she whispered, Then why stay? I walked toward her slowly. Because, I said, voice trembling, I still see you. She shook her head. You see who I used to be. No, I said firmly. I see you. Even now. Right now. This angry, frustrated, confused version. I see you. I love you. I don't care if you ever remember everything. Just stay. Please. Her lips quivered. Then she took a step back, as if I had said too much. I need air, she said. She grabbed the keys and left the house. I didn't follow her this time. She didn't come back for 2 hours. I sat by the window, staring at the streets of Yaba. I watched a couple fight over suya, watched children running after a hawker, watched 2 dogs almost fight at the gutter. But none of it mattered, because I didn't know if she'd return. Then I heard the gate creak. I ran to the door. She stood there, barefoot, hair messy, eyes puffy. But something was different. She was holding something. A small wooden box. I froze. That box, it was her memory box. The one she made during our first anniversary, full of tiny notes, movie tickets, Polaroids, and random things that meant everything to us. She walked in, set the box on the dining table, and opened it. I found this in the top shelf of the wardrobe, she said. I kept it there, I said. You made me promise never to throw it away. She pulled out a note. Read it. Today he danced in the rain with me even though he hates getting wet. I think I'm going to marry this man. She read another. He called me his miracle today. I didn't tell him, but he saved me too. Then a third. We fought over toothpaste. He stormed out, came back with Gala and Zobo, said sorry without saying it. My kind of man. Her hands shook, tears poured. And then she gasped, clutched her head, dropped to her knees. Jen! I ran to her. She was crying hard, head between her knees, breathing fast. I remember. Oh God, I remember. What? What do you remember? I asked, heart pounding. The beach, your blue shirt, me screaming yes under the mango tree. I held her face. Yes, yes. Keep going. You burned my stew and blamed it on the pot, she cried, laughing through her tears. We both fell to the floor. I held her. She held me. She whispered Zion, 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 over and over again like it was a prayer. Then she looked at me and said the words I hadn't heard in months. I love you. And this time, she meant it. Hi, story lovers. Before we begin this final part, I just want to say, if you followed Zion and Jennifer's journey, you know this story is more than fiction. It's for anyone who's held on when it was easier to let go, for anyone who's loved someone through pain, change, or forgetting. If this story touched you even for a second, please click the red subscribe button and join us for more powerful tales like this one. Now, let's end this the way it deserves to end. She remembered me, not halfway, not with doubt, not like a flicker that disappeared the next morning. Jennifer remembered everything. The mango tree, the Jollof rice war, her I love you during Nipa blackout. And when I woke up the next morning, she was already awake, smiling, sitting on the bed, waiting for me like a child waiting for her birthday gift. Morning, she whispered. I blinked. Morning? She tilted her head. You don't believe I still remember. I want to believe. She stretched her hand out, palm up. My name is Jennifer. I'm a plantain thief. I once slapped you because you ate the last meat in the soup. And I've been in love with you since our second NYSC clearance day in Uyo. Tears ran down my face before I could stop them. I climbed into the bed and hugged her tight. She didn't flinch. She didn't ask who I was. She just held me. That morning felt like waking up from a long, painful dream. But the real work was just beginning. I didn't expect everything to magically go back to normal. In fact, it didn't. Jennifer was cautious with everything. Her memories were there, but they came in waves. Some things were sharp. The way I snore when I sleep, the way she used to rearrange our bookshelf alphabetically, even though I begged her not to. But some things were fuzzy. Names of her cousins, our last trip before the accident, even her PIN code. It's like pieces of my brain are switching on room by room, she explained one night as we sat on the balcony watching the yellow Keke Nepep buses zoom past. I laughed. As long as the room with my name in it is wide open, I'm fine. She threw a popcorn kernel at me. It's wide and messy. Like you? We laughed like old friends, because that's what we were now, old friends falling in love again. 2 weeks after she got her memory back, she started asking bigger questions. What's next for us? I hesitated. What do you mean? She held my hand. I've been stuck in yesterday for months. Now that I'm fully back, I want to live again. I want us to live. She paused. Zion, we need to talk about the wedding. I blinked. Oh, Before the accident, we had planned to get married on October 12th, my late mother's birthday. Invitations had gone out, venue was booked, her dress was hanging in the closet, and then the accident happened. I had canceled everything quietly, never told her. Now here she was, bringing it up with fire in her eyes. "I want to marry you," she said, voice low but steady. "Not because we planned it, but because I remember now, and I still choose you." I swallowed hard. "You're sure?" She nodded. "Zion, I fell in love with you when I had no memories. Now that I do, I'm even deeper in it." That night, we pulled out the old wedding binder. There were dried flowers inside, scribbled notes, pictures of cakes we never ordered. It was like opening a time capsule. We picked a new date, December 2nd. No pressure, no drama, just us and the people who stayed. The wedding wasn't grand. In fact, it was the simplest ceremony we could afford. Jennifer wore a white satin gown with lace sleeves, the exact design her mother wore at her own wedding in Abba. I wore a navy blue kaftan, no tie, just a gold pin she gifted me in NYSC camp. We stood under the same mango tree in her grandmother's compound, where I had once knelt with shaky hands and a ring in my pocket. Only this time, she knelt too. "Zion," she said, gripping my hand, "if I ever forget again, remind me like you always have. And if I lose my words, remind me with your kindness. I don't promise to be perfect, but I'll always choose you, with or without memory." I didn't cry. I wept. The village kids screamed, "Kiss her!" The aunties sprayed 20 naira notes. The DJ played Asa's So Beautiful on repeat. It was a perfect day. 3 months later, we started therapy together. Not because something was broken, but because healing doesn't stop at memory. Sometimes Jen would still have foggy mornings. She'd look at a picture and say, "What happened here again?" But now she wasn't afraid of the blanks. "I'm not my memory," she told our therapist. "I'm my choice, and I choose to build new moments." We created new traditions. Sunday morning painting on the balcony, monthly visits to orphanages, her idea, cooking disasters every other Friday, my fault. One rainy evening, as we sat on the floor eating noodles straight from the pot, she looked at me and said, "Zion? You made my healing possible. You didn't force it. You waited for it." I smiled. "I just loved you loudly. That's all." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Even on days I forgot you, something inside me still leaned toward you, like my soul remembered." That night, I held her closer than ever. 1 year after the accident, we planted a small garden, just a few herbs at the back of the house. But in the center, we planted a single flame tree, red, bold, and strong. "This tree," she said, "is for the love that didn't die, even when the mind went silent." We named it Hope, and every anniversary we sit beside it, sometimes in silence, sometimes reading old journal entries aloud, sometimes laughing at all the suya and gala fights, but always together. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if her memory will ever fade again. I don't know if time will test us in other ways, but I know this. I loved a woman who forgot me. She fell in love with me again, every day. And when she remembered, she chose me all over again. What more could a man ask for? Hey, story lovers. What do you think of Jennifer and Zion's journey? Would you stay, even if the person you loved forgot you every day? Was Zion's patience a blessing or a burden? Comment below. Let's talk about it. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Story and Soul so you don't miss the next unforgettable tale. And don't forget, check the right corner of your screen for more powerful African stories just like this one.